Hi guys, Barry here, A&B Hot Rods. Um, we've had an incredible weekend. Super happy with everything we got done on the 55 this weekend. I'll turn this camera around and I'll show you what we did. Alright, so I got the front end done, which I covered in another video, and I was working on the carburetor. I was running an Edelbrock because that's basically all I had. I bought a Quadrajet, which I think I covered in the other video. I'm quite a fan of the Quadrajet carburetor because it will only give the engine what it can take. It has small primaries, massive secondaries. So, I could tell when I was running the car that, let me pull this up. I could tell when I was running the car that the engine just seemed like it wanted more. All right, so this particular Quadrajet that I bought on eBay and then rebuilt is 800 CFM. I'm not really sure what the Edelbrock was rated at. I don't know. It's maybe 650, not sure. The throttle response on this car right now is freaking amazing. Now, one thing that I wanted to experiment with, because I had heard or read online that with a stock 4-barrel intake, which is what I'm running, it's not aluminum, it's just stock Chevy, the 400s favored a 4-inch spacer. Did not want to go with a 4-inch spacer, and that's all based on dyno tests. But so I bought two 1-inch spacers instead of a 2-inch spacer. The reason I did that is because I wanted to experiment with, did it run better with a 1-inch or a 2-inch. This car runs so good right now, I'm not taking it back apart. The 2-inch spacers combined, the 1-inch spacers combined to the 2-inch, the throttle response is amazing. I can get into the 4 barrels right here from idle. The secondaries kick in and the throttle response is crisp. It's what it needed. It's just amazing the difference that it made when I put that on. Now, something I want to cover, if you look in here, and you guys that work on cars, I'm sure you're going to say, oh boy, that's a fire waiting to happen, and you're absolutely correct. One thing you don't want to run, you don't want to run a rubber fuel line. This is all in here just for proof of concept and see how the car runs. All right, so this is going to come out, and I'm going to use braided steel line coming up from my fuel pump. I put a new fuel pump on it. I'm going to do away with this aftermarket fuel filter. It's cool looking, whatever, but the center part is glass. And again, I've got rubber fuel line here and here. Well, my alternator is right there. So what's going to happen is when this fuel line, when this rubber line gets a leak, it's going to spray. If it sprays in the direction of that alternator, I'm going to burn my car to the ground, and I don't want to do that. I came back here and put the stock paper filter, which I did not have in there before. I put the stock paper filter in there because I was an idiot when I rebuilt that car. I rebuilt it. I didn't like how the fuel line was coming up, and I took a fuel line off of my 400 that's over there on the engine stand. And being an idiot, I did not blow it out. So on the initial startup of the car, it shot all that dirt back into my carburetor. I had a float hang and it was just flooding everywhere. So I had to pull the top back off and I had to clean everything out and start over. And again, that's because I'm an idiot. I should have blew that fuel line out, but I didn't choose to do that. So that cost me a few hours today. But again, you know, the car is so much more torqueier. It responds so much better to the throttle. And I can tell that that's what the engine needed. You know, it's with the Edelbrock on there, it was like, you know, the car was fairly quick. You know, the 400 small blocks are you know, they're known for that low end torque. But it always seemed like it was just kind of holding back a little bit. Well, not so much now. So yeah, that's just want to do an update on it. I'm only running right now. I'm running a single spring on my throttle. You want a double spring there. You don't want a single spring. The last thing you want it to do is break that spring, and you're stuck in wide open throttle and can't pull it back. So yeah, I'll update you some more later. You know, like I said, I had an incredible weekend. I'm super happy with how everything came out. And we're just going to keep moving along a little bit at a time. Let me see. You know, I don't know. It's been sitting here for a while. We'll see if we can fire it up. So, one thing I could not do, because apparently carburetors are not popular anymore, I do not have the tool to adjust my air fuel mixture. So I preset those at 2.5 turns out, which you know, that's what I basically used back in the day. I'd come out 2.5, and then, you know, I would just adjust them from there. So that was an initial startup. So I got to go to, believe it or not, Napa. Napa's the only place that actually has the carburetor tool no more. O'Reilly's don't have it. They say they have it, but they don't. Advanced Auto doesn't have it. So, you know, when you're looking at stuff on the older vintage, you're going to have to go to Napa because they still stock those tools and those parts. So yeah, there we go. Hey, you guys have a safe day. I'll talk at you later.